Right, hello YouTube, welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. Now, at the end of the last episode, we finally got our transmissions up and running properly. We've been having some trouble getting any actual signals to any probes we tried to launch, and we were having trouble launching the space station because we couldn't get a signal on it. But we now have full global coverage. Transmits 1 through 4, or 1 through 5, are transmitting 24/7 at the moment. They are able to transmit a signal to anywhere on the globe. Or at least they're able to get a signal from anywhere on the globe. So, that was unusual. We can now finally launch the space station, assuming it works. The California. No, it's not going to be the California. Bit of a long story there, but if you see the episode where that came from, you'll get it. But yes, California's Space Hotel's core. It only holds 4 people, but it has a good deal of electric charge. It has, I think, an antenna, at least one. No, I think it actually loses the antenna once it separates. So, this is very much an unmanned core for the most part, and then we will be docking additional modules to it to prove its capability. It's full of people. It's not supposed to be full of people. What we will do is add the antennas, because they were meant to be on here. I figured we just forgot them. No, we took them off. That was it. It was when we swapped some parts out, we took them off. So we had a bit of a glitch. Kerbal, I think, decided it had been running too long today and decided to throw an error. So, we need 4 antennas. And we will put them... yeah, maybe here on these things. There we go. Right. Save. Remove the crew. You have a drone core. We can fly automatically, and that's what we spent all that time doing the relay for. Each of the... we'll go to dock 4 crew modules to it, and then leave the final 5th node open for docking, well, crew shuttles too, basically. Whatever type of rocket or space plane or whatever we develop for sending crew back and forth from the station. And each of those crew modules will have to hold 12 people, and we'll probably be designing and launching at least one of those today. Right, ascent guidance 360. Yes, that was actually the plan for this one. Okay. Temps, whatever we're on at this point. 3, 2, 1. California core is launching. I wonder if I should use misspelt American state names for all of my crafts. It'd be interesting. Tennessee. Ohio. Oh god, that could be... I feel like there could be some very mangled ones. Texas. Okay, the Texas does sound like a good one for a really overbuilt rocket. I might have to use that at some point. Wyoming. Well, that's... I don't know if I should do that or not, but it feels like it could be funny. Again, very quiet stages at the moment. I don't know if the sound's being a bit weird. I seem to remember this being a lot louder earlier. I might restart the game after this recording and just make sure it's all working properly. Because again, I batch record these. I do a few a day. Or I have been at the moment. My second game release is out now. Sel Quinta. 6 City Quest. Go check it out if you haven't already. But effectively, while I was waiting for that to release, but the game itself was finished, I've been doing a whole bunch of YouTube trying to build the channel up. And getting a load of stuff scheduled ahead of time. And I might continue to do that, depending on how things go. We might keep going with some of the YouTube if it builds up well, but we'll see. I'm enjoying doing it. I'm enjoying building the space. Doing all the space-related stuff, rather, I should say. I'm rather a fan of space, so it's nice to play some games related to it. Accelerating past 100. We're going up to 360 though, so we should be accelerating for a bit longer. I definitely missed a joke to call it something like the Xbox, considering it's going to be cross-shaped and it is going to be at 360 kilometers. Maybe I did miss a joke there. Anyway. Anyway, we're still accelerating. Nearly there. Okay, and we are there. Bearings off any minute, I was going to say. Yep. Right. Like that. Oh, do we have any generators on this thing? Yes, we have some solar panels. Okay. Not many of those. We'll just leave one antenna extended for now, maybe. We are planning to add more later, but yeah, for now, since our power generation ability is a bit limited, we'll leave it. Oh yes, we designed this an episode back, or might even be 2 episodes back at this point, but again, we got a little delayed on launch. We're not quite intended for it to take this long. But yes, this will be again the core of the space hotel we're building. Again, I don't know whether we can also take the space casino, whether it'll like stop contracts coming in for the hotel, or whether we can actually build both. The building the casino is something we could also do. It will take more work. As I said, we need to dock 5 asteroids together. It's obviously a little bit of a trick. Not saying it's impossible to do, but the asteroids are heavy in this game, and it does take a lot of work to shift them, and then once they're in orbit, we have to get them to rendezvous with each other. So you have to have reasonably good control over the asteroid as well. But it's something we could consider. But again, for now, we're sticking with the hotel. It's easy to build. Doesn't pay quite as much, but it still pays pretty good. It should be close to orbital insertion burn. 3, 2, 1. Fire. Wow, did we overbuild this? Have we got a whole extra stage that we don't need? Oh wow, I think we do actually. We have an entire stage we didn't need. What we actually do in this case then is 3-point prograde. Whoops. We don't need to edit the assault descent paths. We're already up. And we have a little system in place for getting the rest of the stuff out of range of the station, so we're not going to clonk into it when we try to dock anything. And quick save just in case. 3, 2, 1, fire. Oop. There it goes. Okay, switch to it. No, we can't. It's not controllable apparently. So there we go. That should. We've got it turned on for debris, right? Did it really only change it a tiny bit? Guess it would be most visible on the other side. I really can't actually see. It's dropped it down a tiny bit. Either way, it's enough that it will be well out the way by the time we get to actually docking anything to this. But yes, I believe we should be able to do radial plus. There we go. Dock it so you get the best view of the planet. Or rotate it so you get the best view of the planet. Lights we can't turn on. Really? We do have lights aboard. Enable the lights manually. But yes, we will then go. We'll now go back to the space center, and we'll get the first of the modules designed. The first, well, not even the first of the modules designed, really, just the first the module for the crew designed. We will probably have to design some kind of cruise ship as well, because I believe once it's built, we will start to get contracts to actually send tourists up and down from it. Right, space center. Yeah, that was a good first step. That launch actually went pretty much without a hitch. If anything, probably what we'll be docking to it will probably be quite similar to Space Camp, which is going to be a little bit of an idea that we could perhaps even, or Space Jank, we could even repurpose Space Jank into more of a hotel module, although I don't know whether that might compromise its ability to re-enter, I suppose, because it kind of needs that big thermal shield wrapped around it. I guess maybe we'll build something new. I was thinking if we use those, we could. Yeah, because it'll need RCS as well. So yeah, we'll just design a new module. This new module is going to have to be able to dock. SS01 crew quarter. It's a quarter because it's going to be a crew quarters. Right, it needs to have a total of 12 Kerbals worth of space on board for each of these modules. So cupola has 1. I feel like it'd be nice to have a cupola on the end to give a good view out of each segment. We do want it to be a nice hotel after all. We will now need, I think it's utility has the crew quarters on it. Let's see. These have 4, the panorama. Ooh, actually does give quite a good view. That would be 8. No, 9. If we had a 3, is there a 3? Yeah. Oh, it's smaller though. That was a bit less, but some cargo space. There's not really much point in having extra. I guess we could replace the top section with something else. It won't hurt to have extra, but it takes up more space. So, dropping things again. I have no idea where that went. We'll get that later. Yeah, I guess we could just do another one of those. We will need power generation on these segments, and better than the main module has. So what I think we might do is seal off this one by surrounding it with panels. And then this will be our module, so you have a good view. You have both at the end and out of here. We do need to set to match the colours, so it will be metal, 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 and metal, and metal again. We will also need on this is, first I just realised an AI core and its own antenna. Which we don't have a brilliant size one actually. We do a small storage unit, I suppose. We should have a 2.5 meter service bay. We'll also fit some batteries in there because I think we do need more power than we've currently got. On the main station. If we go, 8 batteries and what was it? The probe core. We'll use the hex too. Let it bare because it's already silhouette. Actually, yeah. Hang on. Yeah, there we go. 6 batteries on the outside of the hex, and we also need an antenna, which we'll mount exteriorly. Exteriorly, is that a word? Oh, I don't know if they can pass through that. We don't want it to be part of it to be sealed off. Mind you, we're already 1 up, so what we might even do is indeed just take that off and just, because I've already got the round observation module, and we'll just cap this with a flat section. So it's not like they haven't already got a good view. Is there any flat cap I can put over that? Doesn't look like it goes somewhere. Yeah, there we go. Then what we could also put up there actually, or we'll put it at the bottom to balance it, I think, a bit better. RCS tank. It's going to need docking thrusters. Do we want the small ones, or do we want the ones we used before? We'll use these. They're a little bit close looking to the surface. Yeah, it's a bit better. I think there's a variance. We do want that. And we'll have another 4 at the top. I think we can disable the railing on that one. Yeah, there we go. Metal. Metal. Oh, metal. This one. Doesn't have any options for that. Okay. So we now have, we have RCS fuel, we have engines, docking port. Docking port. I knew we forgot something. I need to be able to actually connect with the station. Slightly key detail. Oh, but if we detect from that end, they can't get through the crew tube. Hang on. Can't get to it. Right. Hang on, reroute. There. This. At the bottom. Then that. And that goes back on. Okay. Okay, we're good. I think we can take the handles off the top on that one. Yeah, there we go. Make space for those. A little bit of fiddling to get this right, but there we go. So they can actually get into the station. They've got the nice view module quite near the centre. As they go further out, they've got a section with windows and a section without windows. We have power generation because we have those. We could also fit technically more of those on because we'll never actually need to open the this service space, so we'll just leave that as effectively a hollow tube. We will line these up a bit better. Sake of aesthetics. There we go. That looks pretty good to me. Right. Engines to move it around. We might go for a monopropellant engine because we've already got fuel there. See what kind of fuel efficiency we're looking like we're getting. We could try this one. I believe this is also a monopropellant engine. Yeah, orbital maneuvering cluster. So that is 337 efficiency. What is the smaller one? 328. Is more efficient, but at about 3 times the weight. And what's the thrust? 5 times the thrust, though, so it might actually be more efficient. And 740, we can find out by just trying. 8, no, that is better. Okay. So we use that to do any small maneuvers to get it to dock. But for the moment... Oh, did we put the air core in it? Yeah, it's in there. We now need to get it to orbit. First of all, I'm going to... size... Going to put it in a payload fairing. It's not horribly unaerodynamic, but it's not great by any means. Oh. It does have this, which is not stellar, but... Okay. Then it'll probably be a similar launch stage to before. One of those engines. Yeah, about 4,000. Wait, no. What altitude is it at? Quite a lot higher than that, isn't it? Do we go for a 2-stage? How big's the biggest solid we have now? Oh, we have pretty big solid rockets now. I think what we do is we use some solids to give it a bit more range, because it's got to go quite a long way. Now, we still don't have separatrons, but we have larger decouplers, so we're going to use some of the heavier decouplers that will give those rocket boosters a bit of a kick. Get them away from the main body. I'm going to try 4 thoroughbreds, maybe? Maybe a bit too big. Maybe 4 Pollux. Yeah, it's got about the right delta V. Good thrust to weight. It's all good, I think. These will do it. Nose cones. Those are a bit big. These ones? Yep. Is there an alternate form that's tilted with those? No, just colours. Right. Oh, and we need to offset them a bit because if they go like that, they're going to clip into the rockets and look a bit weird. There we go. Fins. 4 Delta Deluxe. So it's those. Decouple that. Fairing that. Maneuvering engine. Okay, and then we need some struts just to hold this together. So I don't want this falling apart. So put a few straps at the bottom. Again, this sort of 3-point mount seems to work reasonably reliably for me for strap-on boosters. There. Right. And we also need launch supports. Launch stability enhancers, apparently. Right, there we go. It costs 100,000, so as said, we'll probably not be making much money on the actual hotel launch, because we'll need 4 of these. Assuming it all goes right first time, of course. But, again, I believe most of the value from the contracts comes from the later launches. Also need to make sure it's not full, and we definitely have enough crew. 4, 4, 4. Yeah, we have 12 exactly. No crew on board. Good launch. Should be good to go now. Once the game loads at any rate. Come on, game. Are you about to throw the arrow we had before? Are we about to get a weird camera angle? No, it's working, I think. Right. Actually looks alright on the launch pad. It looks a bit lumpy. Right, so it is 360 as the launch to. It is the California. Turn debris off for now, so we can see what we're actually trying to dock with. Great. Launch to rendezvous. Save our bunch, just make sure it works. Okay. It's pretty much out of our hand in a sense. Cosine losses. Not sure what that's about, but we don't actually seem to be losing any off that. We have good thrust to weight on all three stages, I believe, or at least the two that matter for orbit, so let's see how this goes. Again, a very quiet first stage. I do think there's something a little off with the sound at the moment. I feel like 4 Pollux is meant to make a heck of a lot more noise than that. They're not small solid rocket boosters. And we have 4 of them. Don't remember particularly fiddling with the sound on them unless I something without meaning to. Settings? Did we turn the spacecraft sound right down? No, we did not. Not quite sure. I wanted to give you guys all beautiful rocket sounds to listen to, but I guess not. Right, hopefully these decouplers are powerful enough that it kicks the boosters away and we don't have a repeat of what we had before. Because we still don't have Cebratrons. I thought we'd have them by now. I don't know where we get them, but I'll have to maybe have a look through the tech tree, because such a small part, we kind of need them. We had to use those great big, what do you call them? Mite boosters. Which are like, well, okay, they're not big, but they're still like the small sized rockets. Like, so those are a bit big for what's supposed to just be a short kick. It did work, but how we're looking for lost connection. Right, I forgot no thing on the outside. Every time he forgets the same part. We will have a connection at least, but right. Butatron 16S. Whoever it is that makes these. Ionic Symphonic Protonic Electronics. Alright, fair play, guys. I was vaguely aware of the name, but I hadn't realised the pun with that. But yes, they're probably making a good bit of money off of us, because we've had to buy quite a few of those at this point. I do appreciate the pun name, though. We definitely put a transmitter on the upper stage, right? I'm having a genuine "do I do that" moment now. I better check. I don't know if we did. I better go add that on as well. Because if we don't have that, we won't be able to talk to the space station. Well, we will be able to talk to the space station, but we won't be able to talk to the parts of it while they're in flight. Because the moment we ditch that stage and go on to the next one, they'll actually dock. We're going to lose contact with everyone. So, we want an omni antenna. Don't want a cone angle one, we want one with an omni. Well, they seem to be, actually. Omni. Not omni. Wow, okay, so not that many of them are, huh? Okay. We'll have, guess I'll have some of these. Could even do that, actually. They should still be out of the way there. Move them there. So they should be out of our hotel visitors' views, but... We need 2 anyway. Tell you what. Just put them... Don't need much space. We'll just put them... yeah, why not? We'll put them on that little corner bit there. They might be a tiny bit visible, but I think that's a fair price to pay for good signal. We'll rotate all of them to 0, so we should get a nice even appearance at any rate when we dock them. What do I mean, rotate to 0? Yeah, it is pretty much rotate to 0, isn't it? I can't think what the word is. But anyway, it'll align them to 0 degrees relative to the other docking ports, so they're all up is facing up, basically, on all of them. Here we go again. Some guidance. That's probably why we weren't turning over as much as I thought we would be in our gravity turn either. Watching. And very quiet solids. Very considerate of them. But yeah, because I thought we were going to turn over a bit further and we didn't really. These have gimbals on them. I guess the bigger solid rocket boosters are quite fancy. Yes, we should have the money to launch all full parts, all 4 parts as well, and then get most of our money back. Or I think we'll make a little bit of profit. I think the core was a bit cheaper than each of these is individually, so I don't know whether it'd be more efficient to launch more rockets that were smaller, but I feel like it's probably in this case better to just launch the 4 with the same module on each time. Again, if we had the real solar system mod, we could also tool it and make them even cheaper, but we don't have that at the moment. I don't know what part one comes from, actually, mod-wise. I don't think it's mostly designed to work with procedural parts anyway. You can make your own size fuel tanks and things. But I believe when we actually got that far, the solids didn't break anything, which is good when they decoupled. Should drift away a little bit. Still have a signal at the moment. Okay, there was some braking involved there, but it looks like it was just the boosters themselves that broke. The rocket itself seems to be fine. Thankfully, you don't take damage sort of bumping into things in this game, so we don't have to worry about having knocked anything loose or whatever like you would on a real rocket. Words are failing me again today. Yes, what I might do is launch this one, launch 2 more off-screen, and then we'll come in to the next episode with the next one, with the last one docking. Quite cool. We'll get to see the station assembled in high speed. Or at least you guys will, anyway. Not because the game isn't interesting, but because it is quite routine. Once one works and we know the rocket's reliable, it really is just routine flight to send up the other 2, or the other 3 even. Now, they hadn't given us a bunch of tourists, so I don't believe we were supposed to have loaded these already. I believe it is just capacity for 50, and again, we'll get missions later. Because I haven't said what our end goal for our sort of series is. What our goal actually is for this is to... we need to go back to launch, because I forgot to target the core section to launch to rendezvous. Whoops. But what our actual goal for the series is to try and build a colony on Eeloo, and perhaps one on Moho as well, and again, maybe we'll add some planet mod packs and go even further. To do that, we need money, and to fund that, we're trying to do things like building a space hotel. That's kind of how it all links together. So, target that. Let's make sure we're targeting our actual ship. Okay. Launch to rendezvous, book save, go. But yes, so we'll hopefully send out to the furthest planet in the solar system with a colony ship. But again, to do that, we need to fund it. That's it in contracts like these ones. Again, at the moment, I don't think it's actually going to make as much money, but I believe it will be relaying people back and forth that will get us paid, basically, from that particular one. They also might ask us, I don't know if they do or not, but I believe they might ask us to upgrade it. Interestingly enough, the Space Contracts pack said it had 4 one-off contracts, and I'm like, if one of those is the Investor Tour, assuming they're not counting that as 2 separate ones, and there's 1 each for the hotel and the casino, what's the 4th one? Is there something else we can build? Is there a one-off one to do something else with it? I genuinely don't know. I actually don't know what the other space tourism one-off contracts will be, but I'd be interested to see them at some point. Okay, for now, we ascend. It'll be the same as before, unfortunately. You've just seen it, but that's the day with Kerbal. You miss one thing, and the whole mission goes to pot, because you're like, oh, right, this critical, important detail that I should have been aware of has not been taken into account at all. Hopefully, we will once again not smash the rocket on the solid boosters. There were explosions, but it was just the boosters themselves exploding, not the rest of the rocket. I guess maybe maybe because the engine's part of this bottom module, it makes it quite tough. Because it's probably harder than the empty fuel tanks themselves, or the fuel tanks themselves even. You know, I don't even know that was the boosters that exploded, because all four dropped. I think that might have been the coupler on the side of the booster getting smashed off, sort of ground against the side and broken. Anyway, we still seem to have a signal. They'll launch it to the correct target this time. Starting to gain altitude. MacJeb, I guess, knows where it thinks we're going to intercept. Not that we get to see it. Don't think we can do a preview ascent or whatever. By the way, it seems to be launching again. Very quiet. I think there's a sound issue, and again, I'll probably restart after this one as well to hopefully bring the sound back. I think it's because the computer's been on most of the morning running Kerbal. Again, I think Kerbal gets a bit antsy if it's been running too long. Our precious cargo stowed away. I need to remember to extend the antennas on it, because otherwise we will lose signal once we stage past. Well, the current stage, basically. It's a bit violent looking when it shadows like that. Right. There's one of the two. Activate. There's the other one. Activate. There we go. Antenna's out. Still can't turn the lights on, so we'll do it manually. Light. 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 And light. Coasting secularization burn. It's going as intended at the moment. You can always enable the RCS so it can... Yeah, as we say, it might want to turn to node, and it is indeed using a bit of it. We should have enough, even though we might need some for fine-tuning, because I'm going to let this... If we get really near it and we just need to do a fine-tune adjustment, I'm going to ditch this whole stage. If not, we'll use it to do that maneuver, but... trying to dock with that whole massive great fuel tank attached to the back of it is going to cause problems, so we're pretty close. Not ideal, but I think we will probably have to do a few maneuvers, which I can always show you, because docking, you sometimes have to do, well, to rendezvous, you sometimes have to like push yourself up higher so that the rest of the craft is moving slower and you catch up, kind of thing. Is it faster? I can't remember, but you adjust your orbit so that they're not orbiting at the same speed, basically. Wait for one to be in the right spot and then effectively sort of dive in on it. You know, match orbits once you're close. Right, it should start to go the other way once we get near it. We'll also extend the docking port. Have to remember to extend the docking ports on the core as well once we get near it. We'll probably just leave them extended. We could pull them in, but we'll probably just leave them out. Okay, and up to secularization burn. Yeah, we're not tremendously near it. We're not too far off, but how far away are we? 221 kilometers, yeah. We're a fair distance off. It might have to adjust its orbit quite substantially. Or perhaps not. We will see, but electric charge is holding out just fine. That's probably the alternator. I'll see what the rendezvous autopilot says, see what it seems to think. Also disable the fins on this to cut down a little bit of wibble. Right. Oh, what is our closest now? Still 200, right. Rendezvous autopilot. If I engage the autopilot. Okay, what we might actually do is ditch that stage anyway, so it's not near the rest of it getting in the way. It saves us a little bit of weight. Because while it does have plenty of fuel, which will be helpful for this, we have, I believe, enough to do our rendezvous, and again, it will be a lot easier and a lot swifter without the extra weight. We should still have enough RCS once we get near it to do the last part. Looking a little bit Sawyers-y, actually, with the sort of almost round section. Yeah, it's not using more than about 200, and it only has to do about 4 maneuvers. Yeah, so as you can see, it'll circularize at a lower altitude, go around a few times until it's in the right place, and then it'll catch back up. So again, we'll do this one. I'll maybe do the other two off screen quickly, and then we'll come back on as the third one's about to dock, and the hotel will be completed. Because you probably, much as the hotel is a big part of the series, or a big plan for the series, you probably don't need to, or not too interested about sticking around and watching the same flight 4 times in a row for probably most of an episode each. These should be quite neat maneuvers. It should work quite well because it is a balanced craft. I believe this one's perfectly symmetrical pretty much, so... Well, literally even. Not even pretty much. I think it is perfectly symmetrical, so... It will not torque at all during maneuvers, which should make it very reliable. Yeah, and then, as you can see, it's going to push the maneuver back up along the dotted line to bring us back to there. There's a lot of lines going on now, but the other thing you notice, we never lost signal. As soon as we took off, we have not lost signal because we've got 3 relays talking to us at the moment. In fact, 4, I think. So the relay network that we've set up is indeed supporting our automated efforts when it comes to our space probes taking over. Okay. Now moving to intercept. I think we're going to be docking in daylight, which is good. Just in daylight anyway. Orbital maneuvering engines completely silent. I do think indeed the sound has conked out, so we'll also do the restart so we get that back. Again, we'll get it docked first. I reckon that's a good way to finish this episode if we can get docked up. Made a good bit of progress, really, if we can get that. Again, we don't even need to use the RCS to turn anymore because we've ditched the weight. Solar panels seem to be doing a good job of supplying enough power to run the craft. These are a good job, especially considering most of them are blocked. Makes you surprised we're not using a bit more power. Ah, these are getting a bit of sun, that's why. Ah, yes, I see. That's all we need, apparently. You'll probably notice it does tick down once we get into the shade, but I think you only need about 1,000 on most close orbits of Kerbin to keep going through the quote-unquote night. Oh, where was it? It's there. We're moving slower than it at the moment. It should be matching speed. What we'll do, I will quick save here. I think what we could do now is if we change to that craft, we can, I was about to say, extend the docking nodes. They don't extend, so it's fine. We don't even have to worry. Yeah, it should continue to do the, What are you doing? What is it doing? I don't know what it did there. I think something screwed up. That's fine. We'll let it come back. That is why we quick saved before we did that. Yeah, I think something screwed up there, but that's fine. We'll still be able to dock. That is my bad. Probably shouldn't have switched while it was doing that. I thought it was usually fairly okay, but it's doing a small adjustment to keep it on the right path. That is why you, again, as I mentioned before in early episodes, that's why you overbuild. This is why you build with a little bit of redundancy and a little bit of extra fuel, usually, if you can help it. Obviously, it's costly. It's more mass, but if you can give yourself a little extra, you'll not regret it. Normally, you don't normally go, "Oh no, I had spare fuel." Oh no, something went wrong. I had the extra fuel that I needed to correct it. Although it is a bit tight, but we could have had a whole 2,000 extra Delta V if we'd absolutely needed it. We did have that extra fuel tank. Oh, auto warp. Can enable that. Just waiting for it to get a bit closer. Yes, we shall dock to one of those extended arms on the side of the craft. We should enable the docking autopilot as well. Alright, good. Okay, you've taken us to the station. Control from here. You have to tell it to control from the docking port you want to dock with. I think I mentioned that before, but it bears saying again. Set as target. Force roll to 0. So it will dock us perfectly. Line us up perfectly even. And then activate the docking autopilot and it will drift us over. It'll probably rotate us around in a moment as well. Yep. We go to actually... Is that exactly 0? Kerbal's ominous music is picked up. I believe the core is set to keep itself facing inwards relative to Kerbin. It should be looking outwards, basically. Or looking inwards, I should say. We are approaching. You can actually see how it sort of sees the craft in terms of like size and everything. So what it'll do is it'll line us up straight. So it just has to go forwards, basically. Match speed, and then it'll thrust forwards, basically, and secure the dock. Docking ports are slightly magnetic, so once you get very close, they will sort of snap together a little bit, or at least they'll pull together, and then once they're lined up enough and you're moving slow enough, they'll sort of snap, and the craft will fix together. And again, we'll probably leave these extended to make sure there's definitely clearance between the 4 capsules. We could try retracting them as well later, perhaps, but for now, we'll just leave them out. There goes above us. A little bit of a slow process, but if you take it too fast, you, well, leave the area, basically, so, you know. You probably don't want to do that. One trick you can sometimes do is to control the other craft, use Smart Ass to point the docking port at the target, which the target is your ship, and use that to improve the docking a bit, but they can sometimes argue with each other a bit in a sense and cause problems, so it's usually best to just get the other one and tell it, do not rotate, stay still, and we'll dock together. I'm not gonna switch over just yet. It should still be fine, I believe. As long as the vehicle's loaded in, MechJeb will still continue to run on this craft, but just in case, I'm not going to do that. We're nearly there. You can see distance to dock access, which is how close to being lined up it is. Drawing very close now. Ah, come on with the suspense, MechJeb. You're killing me. Pull in, pull in, pull in. I think it's naturally, like, very slowly. Yeah, it is very... It's hot. It's possible to see because it's burning so little, but you can actually see 0.1. It is very... It's using a very small amount of monopropellant to slow itself down really, really gently. Okay. Oh, and moving forwards. Ah, yes, you can see that one's firing. Yeah, they're all pulsing away to bring us closer. So we've got the ones up top, I believe, as well. Yep, they're going as well. Distance to the docking port. Getting closer. The first step in one of our big goals, and we're almost there. Also, we'll have to send some people up to it at some point as well, which will require its own vehicle, I believe. We'll have to work out something for this. We could use the space jank. We could convert the space jank to be dockable, because that's not a bad idea. It does have re-entry capabilities for a large amount of Kerbals for its size. At least a decent amount for its size, I should say. Right, nearly there. Again, it takes it very carefully because we've set it to low speed, but That's fine. That just means it doesn't accidentally break. Like I say, I'll do the rest. The other two I'll screen, and we'll come back ready for the last one because that's just interesting to see. Again, I don't think you need to see it 4 times. Hooray! Successful docking. Control from here. So we radio plus. Minus even then. Well, force roll to 0. Where's 0 relative to this? Is it going to be flat? It's probably going to be flat. Yeah. Cool, so there we go. The first arm of the station is attached. We have nearly all the requirements. We do need more power. How much did we bring up with us? We have 6 of those batteries. We may end up having even to launch one extra module. 6 times 400 would be what? 5 times 400 would be 2,000? 2,400? Yeah, we are probably going to need to bring more power. We might have to launch an additional module that just has batteries. If we can't retract it. That's interesting. Okay. So now that's out, that stays out, I guess. Right, okay. Yeah, so what we'll do, we'll dock the other 4 modules to it, maybe off screen, and then we'll design another module with a extended battery pack and perhaps an extended docking tube to connect the whatever shuttlecraft type thing we build. Hopefully you've enjoyed this one though, and I'll see you guys again. As I always say at the end of these videos, I am a games developer as well as a reviewer, so as well as liking and commenting and everything, subscribing, all that good stuff, do check out the links in the descriptions. It's got the 2 games I made. You might like them. And I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.